This is the Smart ForTwo, and it picks up where the last one left off as a micro two-seater city car. So as soon as you step into the Smart, you are greeted by a very stylish interior. A lot of what you get here is sourced from Renault, such as the gear shifter, the infotainment screen, and these buttons on the side of the steering wheel. But it's fair to say that the car is packaged very well considering its size. There's a sufficient amount of headroom, and legroom is also fairly gracious. Okay, so the Smart ForTwo, what's it like to drive? Well, for starters, it's got a very small 1 litre 3-cylinder engine. Power figures come in at 52 kilowatts and 91 Newton meters of torque, which, despite this being a very small car, it feels really slow. And it doesn't work well with the very long gear ratios that have been put in, which also doesn't really make any sense because a car with a small power output should have short ratios so you have access to power whenever you need it. It's not the case in this car, and a lot of the time is spent in first and second gear. The short wheelbase means that the ride can be quite bumpy, but it also means that turning into gaps and U-turns isn't a challenge at all, and that's exactly what you need for a car that you're using in the city. One thing about the ForTwo though is that parking is not an issue at all. You've got power steering. In this, the Prime model, you've got the rear park assist as well, which means that fitting into gaps, small gaps especially, shouldn't be a problem at all. The ForTwo in many ways is just like a go-kart. It has an extremely short wheelbase, the engine is mounted to the rear, and it has a non-independent rear suspension. A fast go-kart around this track should do about 19 seconds, but with the Smart ForTwo's power to weight ratio of 17 kilowatts per ton, sure, it might be a bit faster than that. Okay, so it's worth saying that this is much harder than it looks. Again, because of the long ratios, you can only keep it in first gear. Obviously, this is a short go-kart track, so you can't expect anything else. Traction control gets in the way, definitely, which is a good thing because the wheelbase is short and it feels like it could snap at any second. Although I am feeling slight moments of understeer, especially around the wider corners. Otherwise, this is actually more fun than I thought it would be. As you can hear the tire squealing, that's mainly because of the surface of the tarmac. It doesn't really react that well to road-going tires. So the Smart ForTwo is all about being cost-effective without sacrificing any style. Unfortunately, it caters for an extremely niche market, and because of its size, it won't be able to adapt to any changes in lifestyle you might experience, which is what makes it such a short-term vehicle.